for a third-time victory of an individual chief minister getting as many seats as he got the first time, with no apparent polarization happening, which he was blamed about in 2002. And it is even more creditable to the Bharatiya Janata Party that they are getting the same result after it's a fifth consecutive victory. So Gujarat has become to the BJP what West Bengal was to the left. You know, and it is, you know, if a lot of credit was given to Jyoti Basu in Bengal, then credit will have to be given to Narendra Modi in Gujarat. I don't think we should be squeamish about it, and at least this channel will not be about that. Yashwant Deshmukh, thank you for joining our panel. You still have a smile on your face. Yeah. Okay, Yashwant Deshmukh, before I come to you, numbers here, vote share, gain, BJP moves up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a 2% gain from 49.1 to 51.7 to almost a 2.5% gain for the BJP.
I see a 2.5% gain here
for the BJP.
To the overall BJP
The Congress
tally
has gained just by about 1.5%.
Have they?
Yes, they've come up from 38.2 to 39.78. So this is 1.5. This is 2.5.
But just not good enough.
Not good. I've still not breached the 40 mark. Yeah.
No, this is not good enough. The fact is the gap has increased.
Gap has increased, absolutely.
The gap which had gone under 10%. Yashwant Deshmukh, what was the gap the last time?
The gap was roughly about 11% between the BJP and the Congress.
Now it's
12%. But I believe that these are the very early trends in a way.
So?
These vote shares are extremely early trends. You need to wait for the final, because I firmly believe that not all the seats trends are coming for the vote share. We are getting these votes from some limited number of seats from where the vote shares are coming. So Jay would probably agree with me that we need to look in the vote share that GPP is polling. That will give us the clear picture of how and where the votes are going or coming from. So one thing is very clear, that BJP has maintained the lead. I mean, whatever they were getting, I mean, I'm glad that we projected 116 to 124. It's coming out in that territory. But from the vote share perspective, I also feel by the time you will get the final vote shares, I am pretty sure that BJP would be losing something to GPP, because GPP has been polling fairly well. I mean,
but I want to pick up Godhra as an example. Now we're getting some detailed things. You're seeing a swing away of 6.74% in Godhra, which is a firewall for the...
was not a firewall, but was a Congress-leaning.
So you see a 6.74% swing in Godhra. I think this is huge. Isn't it, Manish?
No,
this is something that the Congress party should be very worried about.
No, in fact, the statements that are coming from the Congress party Muslim leader who was here on the screen, I think those statements are coming post facto, after the results have started coming in. Then they are coming out to say that, oh, we were with the Muslims. During the entire campaign, that voice was silent. So it was not the Muslim voter that was silent, but it was the Congress party that was silent completely on Muslims in Gujarat. And that is certainly an outcome that you can see. And the other point that I would want to make is that the JDU, which somebody said would be very happy, they had an ST seat in Gujarat. I don't think that's going back to JDU. So this party that was looking at the migrant population as well as the ST population, opening its account, I think that Dukan is definitely going to close shut. So there can be filibustering between two leaders on two different parts of the country, but effectively in terms of content, that will close down now.
Yes, Swami, you want to come. Navika.
That also, Abna, 115 is a tremendous victory.
Tremendous victory.
Third time. Whether you see 115, 117 doesn't matter in real terms. So it's a tremendous victory.
But psychologically,
it's the moral booster he needs for his national ambitions.
What Modi will be looking very closely at is the central Gujarat results, and that's the region we should look at very closely, because this is the traditional area where the Congress had its stronghold, always had more seats than the BJP in central Gujarat. This time around you see 22 seats to the BJP and 18 on which the Congress is leading, and breach is happening in the central region of Gujarat, and that's where you've seen the maximum campaigning by Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, and central Gujarat, which was the bastion of the Congress, the only region which was the bastion of the Congress, that's been breached by Modi. So he'll be looking at the new inroads that he's made in some regions.
Central Gujarat is very, very significant because it was really the stronghold of the Congress party, and it has lost out. Just look at how saffron has spread out and even eaten in right in the middle of the Congress vote. We expected here the BJP best case scenario to be about 23, 24, and I almost got there.
Absolutely. This is actually the Congress East-Hole cluster, the way
They've
we
just
built it.
eaten into it.
Eaten it. The BJP has completely taken the East-Hole cluster. The Charotar cluster, this is basically the Anand and the Kheda districts, that somehow the Congress still seems to have retained, of course, because with Shankar Singh Waghela himself fighting there. There we go, the Congress East-Hole cluster now. Here, the BJP has clearly taken a lead, 9 of 15, the Congress East-Hole cluster. So we clearly demarcated the cluster where we were expecting some sort of a breach, and that's the cluster we're looking at. This is what the cluster looked like in 2007, and now in 2012, the BJP has clearly taken a lead. This includes Panchmahals, it includes
With you.
Yeah. Yeah, Arnab, I would like to make 2 points. If you go back on the day of the or exit polling, the day we were discussing it here, I said, for me, the headline of Gujarat starts from the tribal Gujarat.
Exactly.
The Adivasi.
Yeah.
You know, why I am saying to highlight it again, everything that Modi lost because of Keshubai got compensated because of the tribals.
Exactly.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, if we are looking at the trends, the day of the Muslim votes and other things that we were talking about, that is to be added on that. Number three, if Modi is gaining because of the tribals, mind you, it is not the Modi factor only which is working on the tribal, it is the 50 years Vishwa Hindu Parishad and Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram. While we romanticize with the idea that RSS and VHP is against Modi, we forget it is only a section of the RSS, section of the VHP which is against Modi. Modi is RSS poster boy and he will remain so. Let's make it very clear. It is the RSS backbone in the tribal area, Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram and everybody that work, that has delivered the Adivasi areas to Modi, and Modi knows it. Modi knows it very clearly.
I think as we analyze the clusters, one must give the BJP due. In the minority cluster, and also I want to pull back the graphics which you were mentioning there of the Charotar vote share culture. That's so significant because this is the Anand and Kheda belt.
Absolutely.
It is the heart of NRI Patels.
Yes.
It was a 42 to 46% share, which you can see not in this area, but a 46% share of the Congress party. It was the Congress party stronghold.
Absolutely.
The Congress party in this election has completely lost out in 2 of its last remaining clusters, which is the minority cluster and this particular Anand and Kheda district cluster.
Yes,
and that is the story of how Narendra Modi has been able to pull out a pretty phenomenal performance while also retaining largely what's happening in urban Saurashtra.
Absolutely.
Here's the numbers animating on your screen. See how saffron goes right down up to the south. This entire belt has been eaten away. The eastern tribal cluster has been eaten away. And the total numbers, the vote share is the significant story. I don't have the Congress vote share there right now. That's showing 0-0. But a BJP vote share of 52.06% vote share. Jay, 52.06% vote share means huge electoral surge for Narendra Modi. That's a 2% surge.
Big time, as the turnout had surged, that we had received 10% surge in the turnout, and we were mentioning the other day.
The big turnout factor that is coming out is from the youth, which has been going for the brand Modi. Big turnout factor was the women, which has been going the brand Modi. And it's in a way a good sign that at least we are moving ahead in a direction. We can talk less about the caste and the majority groups of the demographics in terms of policy of the youth and the women and the other.
Yes, go ahead.
Why has it left the number of seats still stagnated?
It's very easy. It's no rocket science, Shankarshan, because if the number of votes in critical seats is being eaten away by the Keshubai factor, or
so that, exactly.
But the fact is that it's not. I mean, it's an arithmetic thing. But
yes,
the thing is that he is winning. That's
of course, he has won. There's no doubt about it.
So
but then,
whatever damage that Keshubai Patel could have done, it's not a permanent damage.
One second, gentlemen. Can I just point out to you here that you have a vote share tally, and you look at that. That vote share is now there is a 2 point. How much?
It's more than 10% gap. I mean, that's one thing.
Almost a 13%.
It's almost a 13% gap almost, or about 12.6% gap between the Congress and the BJP. And I think that is extremely substantial. And that is also going to be written about because for the third time, Narendra Modi is getting the highest ever vote share that he has got. Can you tell me, Yashwant, how that 52% vote share at this gap of 13% compares to the results of 2002 when there was maximum polarization in Gujarat?
Well, it's better than that for sure. It's certainly better than that for sure.
You say that?
Yeah, absolutely. It is much better than that for sure. And if you look at it specifically into central Gujarat, Arnav, you will be surprised. Central Gujarat delivered Modi in 2002, Central Gujarat delivered Modi in 2012. But the agenda and the mandate is altogether absolutely in opposite direction. 2002 was absolute communal polarization, 2012 is absolute development mandate.
Okay, so there is the result of the Gujarat Assembly trends. Before I go to Ravi Shankar Prasad, the Congress party has gained by 0.57% of the vote. The BJP has gained by 1.9%. The gap between both sides, which was 11% last time, has now been increased to about 12.5%. So 1.5% increase in the gap. BJP increases the gap compared to last time. We'll perhaps get a couple of seats less than last time. Ravi Shankar Prasad, Chief Spokesperson of the BJP. Good afternoon, sir. Or should I still say good morning? Mr. Rajagopal, which will say now that Narendra Modi needs to be contained. 1 minute. First was the argument he has been contained. Now that he hasn't been contained, that argument will come up, won't it, Yashwant? That he needs to be contained.
Of course that will come up.
That he's a threat.
Again it will come up. But the thing is that, I mean, let's respect the mandate. Let's respect the mandate. Many of us were not really happy whenever the left kept on winning in West Bengal. But still we had to respect the mandate.
I said this on your program 3 days ago that we may be looking at a challenge to our constitution or the way we are. And democracies can throw up those challenges.
Why is the victory of one particular leader a challenge?
No, because
Let's be more direct.
Mr. Modi comes from positions that challenge our basic assumptions about the kind of society and the kind of nation that we are and want to be.
You say so still, even
yes,
after...
I do say, yes.
Even if it is shown to you that he's got more Muslim vote in this time.
Yes, I do say, because the quality of that, I have serious reservations about the kind of, the projection of that Muslim vote.
And tribals have voted for him. More Muslims have voted for him.
My point
is that
a democratic vote cannot... A democratic vote in this country can pose a challenge to the idea of India.
I want to go back. You look at that spectrum on the bottom of your screen, and I want to ask you, Yogendra Yadav, and to everyone, Manisha Priyam as well, you look at the spectrum and look at the way the BJP has eaten into the swing seats, the Congress leading seats. Are we suggesting here that all the people who have voted for Narendra Modi there are doing so out of an illusion, not realizing that they are going to destroy the idea of India and the idea of the constitution?
In Gujarat, they are for the destruction of the idea of India.
What?
In Gujarat, they are for the idea.
Who is for destruction of
People have to vote.
Has he not fought the election? Has he not fought the election on a development mandate?
No. There is a subtext to this whole...
No, what
tell me, when did you last hear that Gujarat was an underdeveloped state?
Yashwant,
I have a problem.
Coming to the
demarcations. Muslims who vote for Modi are not the real Muslims. Gujaratis who vote for Modi, they are not part of India.
Nobody said they are not part of India.
They are not real India.
They are not all of India, I said. They are part of India. They are not all of India.
I understand that.
Don't put words in my mouth. Gujarat is not the same thing as India.
Gentlemen,
Gujarat is a part of India.
Gentlemen, 1 minute. I'm going across this side of the table. I'm going across to Navika Kumar. I'm coming to you, Manisha. There are strong reactions coming into this debate, and I want this response from the Newshour and Times Now viewers as well. Do you believe, with the position taken by Yogendra Yadav and Sankarshan Thakur, that the victory of Narendra Modi presents a challenge to the idea of India, to the idea of democracy, to the Indian constitution, or should it just be respected as the mandate?